and welcome to Rock Your Block, where we're highlighting individuals who are making a difference and an impact in our community. I'm your host, Larry Laws. On this segment of First Home Alliance, we have a very special guest. She is an expert in the mortgage industry and gives back to her community in many, many ways. Presently, she serves as membership director on the Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals Board for the Washington, D.C. chapter. She is a mother, wife, friend, former WNBA player, and loan officer that loves to serve veterans. Please welcome to our show the Queen of Mortgages, Markita Woods. Well, Markita, repeat your name again. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, Larry, thanks for having me.
All right. And how was your trip in?
Well, you know how it goes. We live in Northern Virginia. It starts raining and slows everything down.
Yes.
So as mentioned, I'm Markita Woods, affectionately known as the Queen of Mortgages.
And where did you get that name?
Well, it's a self-appointed queen. I wasn't voted in, but it's funny that you ask. I've been in the business now for 15 years, and we had a housing crash. I don't know if you remember that or not.
A little bit.
A little bit, right?
Yes.
So the market had totally tanked, and prior to that, to get someone a home loan, basically if they were breathing, you know, put a mirror, if they were breathing,
yes,
they had a loan.
Correct.
So it was easy to get business and nothing special needed to happen. But once the market crashed, I mean, you have a bank on every corner, a credit union on every corner, and a lot of different places that people could choose to get a mortgage. So
yes,
my thought process was that I needed something that you would remember. So most people may not remember Markita, but they remember the name Queen of Mortgages. So, you know, you always want to think of yourself in a business as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
I went to a little workshop, and the guy told me that we're going to name you the Queen of Mortgages. So I bought the domain, and that's when it was born.
Well, it definitely worked.
Yes.
And it has a ring to it, you know?
Yes.
Definitely have a ring. Yeah. And so how did you get into the business?
That's a very interesting question, which will probably lead into a different question, but I'll go ahead and spill the beans. I used to play basketball.
Okay.
So I played professionally with the Washington Mystics, which is the local WNBA team.
Yes.
And right at the end of 2002, right before the season, I was let go abruptly. And I don't know how much you or the listeners probably know about the WNBA, but it's a very short season.
Yes.
It actually happens over the summer, which is not the normal basketball season. And most of the players go overseas on the off season and play there and earn money to hone their craft.
Yes.
Well, that particular off season, I actually decided to go to real estate school because I always knew that I'd be involved in real estate or finance in some way. And I got my real estate license. And right at 2002, right before the training camp, I'm thinking I was going to make the roster, and I was let go abruptly. Okay. So I said, wow, you know, sometimes you don't know why you're doing stuff or what the timing is. I had the real estate license. I did one transaction and figured out very quickly that realtor would not be a title
yes,
for Markita. But I wanted to stay involved, so
yes,
I went over to the mortgage side and
okay,
went over and talked to the company that actually did the loan for my first client, which actually happened to be a veteran that was PCS to the area.
Yes.
Helped them buy a property in Belmont Bay, which is actually in Woodbridge.
Okay.
And the loan process went very well. The company was communicating back and forth, and really without the money, there is no home. So
Correct.
I felt like maybe my role could be more important. And as I said earlier, I definitely knew I couldn't be a realtor. I mean, I can't drive people around. I'm from Detroit. I don't even know where I'm going. We didn't have GPS then.
Yes.
We had MapQuest, right?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So that's how I ended up in the business. I mean, I joke about it all the time. I think the first day I might have showed up in the sweatsuit because I didn't have very much clothes coming off the basketball court.
Yes, well,
Yeah.
you know, and being a realtor, they you know, like you say, they dress.
They dress.
They definitely dress.
Yes.
They dress to travel.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
So that's how that started, and that's been it for me. Professional basketball, loan officer, the two jobs I've had my entire adult life.
Yes, well, that's great. And what company are you working with now?
So right now I'm with Hancock Mortgage, which is a boutique operation.
Okay.
We're in Woodbridge, but we do loans all over Virginia,
Great.
Maryland, and D.C. So I say the money's green everywhere.
Correct.
And honestly, a lot of my clients don't even come into the office anymore just because of technology, time constraints, traffic.
Yes.
As far as Northern Virginia, as we encountered earlier today.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, have you found it more enjoyable being the mortgage loan officer versus the realtor?
So today might not be the day to ask that question. But I will say overall, I'll have to say yes. And I think both have their struggles.
Yes.
Ultimately, our goal is to get people into homes in a seamless process. However, it's very dynamic. There's a lot of moving parts. And to get someone to a closing is carefully orchestrated. And it might seem easy, but there's just a lot going on. So I do think we play a very important role, and I'm very happy about that. I mean, to me, you know, home ownership, we talk about it. It's the American dream, right? So if I'm able to help someone get their finances in place to achieve part of that, that makes me feel really good.
Okay. And any, you know, experience that you carry over from being, you know, having gone through the real estate training and now you're a loan officer, any of that was able to translate over and help you in the field of mortgages, knowing that you know, some of the things that you learned as a realtor?
Well, I would love to say yes, but the truthful answer is no. Like,
really?
I empathize some with them as far as the driving is concerned. Definitely, I'm like, you guys are troopers. I mean, you're going into people's homes and getting involved with their lives. And most of the time, no matter what we tell people, you need to talk to the finance person first. They usually rely on the agent. What I found from the test and everything was, it was just like the job, on-the-job training, where you got to learn the statutes and the laws.
Correct.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to translate to success in real time. So surprisingly enough, there was not much carryover from, you know, taking that test and being able to learn those things and actually pass it, as far as what really happens in the real world.
Yes.
Big difference.
Yeah, big difference. Okay.
Yes.
So in a day like today, being a realtor would have been a little bit of a challenge, and staying on time and making those runs out there.
Oh, no doubt.
Yes.
You know, however, I'll say today, you know, when we came in, it's pouring down raining. In the rain is a good time to see a house, because you're going to see how that house actually performs, you know, under the stress of a rain. Is there really a leak there with the roof that maybe you wouldn't see when the sun outside? But I'll let the realtors talk more about that. But that is one thing I picked up. You know, want to know how a house is going to perform, go on the days that the weather is bad.
Yes, that's true. Yes. Now, what about your career as a WNBA and some of those things that translate over into where you are now and what you're doing?
Well, absolutely. Some of those things have translated over. I mean, you think I was able to live my dream, which at the time, when I was growing up, there was no professional basketball for women in America. So to actually be able to carry that out and make it to that level obviously takes, you know, a lot of hard work. Which of course translates into the job today. A lot of discipline, as far as doing the right things for our body and training. And really the biggest part of it all that to me translates over is about the fundamentals, or what I like to call having the foundation.
Yes.
And you know, no matter what level players are at, you still have to be sharp and practice your fundamentals. And those things are things that I think about in my business on a daily basis.
Yes. Now, I see that you took a part in a book. So, yeah, why don't you tell us about that, the book, The Veterans Home Loan, and tell us about Veteran Home Loan.
So, another thing that happened when the market crashed was that I felt like I needed to have a niche. You know, they say there's niches and riches and niches, and somebody that's a specialist is probably going to garner more pay than somebody that's a generalist. You know, you hear the term all the time. People say, you know, jack of all trades and master of none. Well, I decided that I wanted to do my best to master one specific loan program. And the reason why is, you know, veterans out there want to say, you know, those that are serving right now, active as well as have served, which I believe you're a veteran, want to say, you know, thank you for your service. And I'm just a, you know, patriotic person. I'm not someone that served, but this is my way to giving back to you all for your sacrifice. So my goal is to be the best person to serve veterans and give back in that way. So, I mean, the biggest goal for many Americans when considering buying a home, the biggest challenge, many times is a down payment.
Correct.
You know, and we live in a high cost area. I mean, not many people have just $15,000 laying under the mattress ready to buy a house. Now, if you're buying a house, don't have it in the mattress. Put it in the bank, folks. But, you know, it's a no money down loan, and it's a benefit. And it's a benefit that is very well deserved. So my goal is to educate not only the veteran about this benefit, but also the real estate community. Because many times we think if someone has a loan that is zero money down, then that makes it bad. well, you deserve that right
Correct.
to do it, and that loan actually performs very well. The default rate is much lower than conventional and FHA type loans. So I just wanted to jump in and learn everything that I could as a way of serving. So that's how that goes. So, you know, you talk about the book. It's actually an ebook.
Yes.
It can be downloaded online for free. But that was just something to give people education, because right now we are in an information age.
Correct.
You know, everybody has a voice. You have national companies that may do a lot of advertising. However, you know, when the veteran calls in, they're talking to a highly trained telemarketer that is, you know, not well versed in the loan product. Even if you know, a branch of service is in their name,
yes,
that doesn't mean the person that on the other line actually understand how the loan works. So
correct.
I wanted to write this book to give 10 little easy points for veterans and realtors to be able to use and understand a little bit more that no money down doesn't mean it's a bad loan.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for focusing in that area. I think it's a very important area, our veterans.
Absolutely, my
Yes.
pleasure.
And we're about to take a short break. But before we go, I would like to remind you that First Home Alliance is a HUD-approved housing counseling agency serving the National Capital Area. If you are a first-time home buyer or a homeowner in need of mortgage assistance, please visit the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development website to find a HUD-approved agency in your area. We'll be right back after the break. Stay tuned. The combined federal campaign and United Way Federation impacts quality of life nationally and across the globe. First Home Alliance, a community-based nonprofit housing counseling agency approved by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to provide comprehensive housing assistance programs to help low to moderate income and veteran families. First Home Alliance is a CFC-approved charity and proud member of the United Way of the National Capital Area. Welcome back. You're watching Rock Your Block. I'm your host, Larry Laws of First Home Alliance. And if you're just now tuning in, we're joined today with the Queen of Mortgages, Markita Woods of Woodbridge, Virginia. Markita, before the break, we were talking about that book.
Yes.
And so what are some of the main topics in that book? Just touch on it a little bit.
So a couple of things that I actually cover, you know, in the book is one is about a funding fee. And many people don't understand that even though the loan is no money down, meaning the sales price and the loan amount should be exactly the same, every VA loan has a funding fee, and basically that's a fee that's financed on top of the sales price so that the loan can be done with no mortgage insurance, no down payment. So many times the total loan amount, if you're not a disabled vet by 10%, is actually on top of the sales price. So that was something that always come up. Hey, I'm only buying a house for $400,000. What is this extra thing? Well, it's the funding fee. And what happens is if a veteran were to default, that is the pool of money that is paid out to the lender to make sure that they're made whole. So even though VA is giving us the guarantee, the funding fee funds that, the lenders still lend the money. So it's a great loan to perform, because in the event something negative happens, we hope not, and a vet were to lose their home, then the funding fees actually pay those costs between the difference.
And that's definitely a great point, you know, to bring up. When I say one thing, because some people think no money down mean no money.
You know what? It's funny. I actually do talk about that in the book, and I had a vet stop by. Actually, he did stop into the office. He's kind of old school, like, no, I just want to meet face to face, which is perfectly fine. I was like, hey, we got a visitor, right? No money down definitely does not mean no money out of pocket, because when you're writing a real estate contract, you do have to have an earnest money deposit. You do have to pay for a home inspection if you're smart, and we're going to encourage that, as well as an appraisal. So there are some funds that money out of pocket. However, if the contract is written right and we can negotiate properly, many of our veterans can get money back at the settlement by having the seller pay the closing costs. So no, folks, no money down basically means the sales price and loan amount could be exactly the same, and it's not a requirement, but no money out of pocket is not the how it goes.
Yeah. Now, do you have a veteran in close family or veterans that you've been around?
So I have a couple of cousins that actually served, but they were older than me, and actually they were away during the time I came up. What happened is I was introduced to this area. I'm from Detroit.
Okay.
And in this area, there's a large contingent of veterans out here. I mean, we have all of the military bases and everything, and just found that more people than you think have actually served. So it's just something I need to start asking about, and just kind of fell in love, been my best client. I mean, able to follow the directions, understand what it needs to get done. And I think some of that is just the military training.
Yes.
Being, you know, I played basketball, I was coached, you know, all my life with that. Military, you're being basically coached, the same thing. And if you take that same approach in working with the mortgage lender, it's going to be much more enjoyable and can get through the process more seamlessly. You know, not always asking why, but getting it done.
Getting it done. Yes, and I've seen a lot of your advertisement out there.
Yes.
And so I saw your picture around here. You're very good in that market media. And so we could talk a little bit about that. But I actually thought maybe you had served, you know, because of some of the things that you had out there. And I saw this thing, Military Mortgage Boot Camp.
Yes.
You know, and so that even more thought maybe she served in boot camp. Went through boot camp.
I am in boot camp, I'm in mortgage boot camp. Boot camp. I didn't serve formally at all.
Yes.
This is my way of giving back. This is my form of service by actually serving the veterans in the home loan process. But Military Mortgage Boot Camp actually was started by a Marine that realized when he bought a home that he was clueless. And even though he got the home, he had no idea about how his benefit worked. I mean, he ended up with the home, and he was on a mission to make sure that people are educated, or veterans are educated about their benefits. So he formed this company, and there's only maybe 12 of us to 15 of us across the country that have went through his training to be certified as instructors and share about Military Mortgage Boot Camp. So it is actually taught like a boot camp. We have NDOC, we have Recon, we have different things going on, and we have live events a couple of times a year to brush up on our skills, to make sure that we know the guidelines and can, you know, spout them off as needed. So he's definitely doing it boot camp style. I'll tell you what, I go spend a couple of days with Jay. His name's Jay McMakin, and come back my brain spinning, man. So I'm glad and honored to be a part of it and be part of, you know, the first class of instructors that are out here spreading the word.
Okay, and I think you could actually be a drill instructor.
I think so. You know, when I played basketball as a point guard, the point guards tell people what to do.
That's true.
So I could easily maybe flow on over there. I think so.
I think so. Yes. And I've seen you actually give some classes and things. And so actually I've done a couple of videotapes. And tell us a little bit about the social media campaign that you use.
So I am huge into video marketing, which is why I was actually especially very excited and honored that you asked me to come on the show today, because I feel like video is not the future, it is right now.
Correct.
And I am heavy also into social media just to spread the word. I mean, everybody has a voice, so I've decided to use my voice by using video marketing, because let's face it, face-to-face is the highest level of communication.
Correct.
And if I give you a video, you can see my face. Even though I can't see yours, it's like we're having a face-to-face conversation and can convey the message and the passion in what we actually do.
Yes. Actually, I would like to take a short break and give our audience an opportunity to take a look at one of the videos that you have, the Realtor Reconning, that covers the funding fee.
Okay, that's
so
awesome.
If we could take a short break and take a look at the video clip, and then we'll resume.
Left, right, left, sir, yes, sir.
Hi, this is Markita Woods, Military Mortgage Boot Camp instructor, coming to you today with another Realtor Recon. What I want to discuss in this video is the VA funding fee, the one unique cost associated with this type of financing. So, the funding fee is an amount that's financed on top of the sales price and can be brought in as cash as well. So it can be financed or brought in as cash. So, let me talk to you a little bit about that though. If you are at least 10% service-connected disabled, the funding fee is actually waived. For others though, if you don't have a down payment for our veterans, anything from 0 to less than 5% is 2.15% for a first-time use. And if you use it again after that, which you can use your veteran benefits twice, some people didn't know that, it's 3.3% for the subsequent use. Hopefully we spelled that right. Down payments from 5 to 10 up to 10% are at 1.5%, and down payments of 10% or more or 1.25% for the funding fee. Now remember, in another video I talked about in 2016, 28% of veterans actually had a down payment, which would reduce the funding fee amount that could be financed or paid in cash. So that's it for today, learning about the VA funding fee. Catch us on our next edition of Realtor Recon. Military Mortgage Bootcamp instructor Markita Woods signing out.
Thank you for sharing that with us, covering about the VA loan. Yes. And so tell us a little bit more about the VA loan and the funding fee.
So we kind of talked about it earlier.
Yes.
In that actual video clip was one of many videos that I have on a series called Realtor Recon. And our goal, again, is to educate agents about the VA loan, because there was times if you had two borrowers and one had a VA loan and the other one had conventional loan, automatically they gravitated to the conventional loan, thinking that that might be better. So that particular video just wanted to touch on who doesn't have to pay the funding fee. And basically, if you receive a 10% disability rating from the VA, then the funding fee is actually waived. And that's probably the only negative that I could see on taking on this type of financing. So what we do with the Realtor Recon is bust myths. We bust myths about the loans throughout the real estate community. We have lunch and learns for agents to actually come in and learn about that, because I feel like if you get a veteran as a neighbor, you probably got, you know, one of the better people that can actually be on your side.
That is true.
Yes.
Yes. And what are some of the situations where that, we already said that in reference to the funding fee being waived.
Right.
Yes. Okay.
Yep.
All right. And so what we're going to do is at this point, we have a couple of minutes left.
Okay.
And this is where we go and check our inbox.
Okay.
And we see how that our segment here can help rock your block. This is where we share a recent question sent to us from our audience, our viewing audience, about financial stability and housing. Today's question comes from Washington, D.C. The question is, why is my credit score from one of the major credit monitoring sites different from the score the mortgage loan officer shared with me? Today, we're honored to have the Queen of Mortgages as a guest on our show. And so, Markita, could you answer that question from our audience?
Absolutely. So I get this question on a daily basis. The credit industry is a billion-dollar industry, so we're probably in the wrong industry. Everybody pays for some type of credit now, for jobs, employment, home loans, car loans, to move in an apartment, whatever it is, we want to attach these numbers. But what happens is the companies such as a Credit Karma or different companies like that have their own scoring model. So that scoring model is totally different than what we have in the mortgage industry, which means the score will be totally different. You can have 500 scoring models and 500 credit scores depending on who's supplying it. We use FICO 08 and they use their own scoring model, so that's why you see the vast difference. And it's unfortunate because it does cause disappointment for people that are trying to be responsible and monitor their credit. So if you're looking to buy a house, talk to a mortgage loan officer, preferably me, about your true credit score. So the difference is they're using a different scoring model.
Okay. Well, Markita, I wanted to say thank you for coming on to the show. And the time went by. The time went by fast, so you definitely have to come on again.
I will. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. You're welcome. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the interview with Markita and you found it as amazing as I did. If you would like additional information from Markita, please contact and follow the Queen of Mortgages. I'm Larry Laws of First Home Alliance, and it's been my pleasure sharing with you our mission and highlighting others that provide critical services that impact our community as well. If you have questions about financial fitness or about how to make your dream of homeownership a success, send your questions to our inbox and tune in to our show next time to see if your question was selected to be shared with our audience. You can easily get more information about our services by visiting our website. Thank you. Thanks for watching today's segment of First Home Alliance, and join us next time to rock your block.
Flex Bootcamp is a pilot program. We are seeking applicants that are serious about getting into financial shape and willing to take on the Financial Literacy Education Experience Challenge. We ask candidates for a 12-month commitment of financial management conditioning. We offer 10 financial education modules augmented by monthly confidential one-on-one financial coaching sessions. We are committed to help you reach your financial goal. Your success is our success. If you are interested, please visit our website for more information.